Starter Garden Plants is a range of high-quality flowering and foliage shrubs supplied by Akiro Limited, specialists in plant marketing, and their labels now feature plant info QR codes. Just point your phone at one and scan, and you can see more detailed plant information supplied by Joy of Plants, the UK's finest online source of plant information. A QR code is like a barcode that you can scan with your phone to get more info on something. You'll see them on magazines, adverts, and now also on plant labels. To scan them, you need a QR code reader. Some modern phones have QR code readers built in. If yours doesn't, you need to go to the App Store on your phone and download one. I have an iPhone, so I go to the App Store icon. Search for apps, type in QR code and search. There are lots of free apps to choose from. I'll choose this one called Scan because it has a 4-star rating. This install button will install it for me. Then I'm ready to scan QR codes wherever I find them. I'm looking for an evergreen shrub for my front garden, which is in sun part of the day and shade the rest, and which has dry soil. There are lots of plants to choose from. Let's have a look at this Euonymus Gaiety. The label gives me some basic information, but doesn't really tell me that much. This one has a plant info QR code though, so I can scan it for more information. So I look for the QR code reader app on my phone. This one's called Scan. I start the scan and point the phone at the QR code, holding it the right distance away. The beep means that it's scanned correctly, and here's the page of plant info, as if by magic. The plant info is broken down into 4 pages: needs, looks, photo and names, and we'll look at each in turn. On the needs page, I can scroll down and see that this plant likes sun and part shade. That's good because my garden gets sun in the morning and shade in the afternoon. I can see here, for the moisture, that it will also cope with the dry soil in my garden. I scroll back up and go to the looks page. I can scroll down here and find out how big this plant's going to get. So this one grows to 1 metre tall at 10 years and a spread of 1.5 metres. That's good, it will fit in my border. Now I go to the photos page. Here I can see what the plant will look like when it's mature. This is a nice looking plant. I go to the names page and I can see that this plant's called a spindle plant, that's the common name. I can also scroll down, get a description of the plant, and here it also tells me that this plant has an RHS Award of Garden Merit, which means it's a plant the RHS recommends. Oh yes, I think this will be a great plant for my front garden. Now I'm going to look at some Hebe shrubs for the rock garden container in my back garden. I'm going to show you how to use the QR codes to compare 2 different plants. There are 2 varieties here, the Hebe Baby Marie and the Hebe Pingifolia Sutherlandi. The labels don't tell me if I can grow them in a container, so I'll scan the plant info QR codes to find out more. So I go to the QR code reader app on my phone and start the scan. I scan the first plant and up pops the plant info about the Hebe Baby Marie. On the needs page I can see that yes, I can grow this plant in a container and it's hardy to -7 degrees C. I go to the looks page to find out how big it'll get, and I find out that it will grow to 0.35 metres tall in 10 years and have a spread of 0.35 metres, so it will be small enough to fit in my container. Now I need to scan the second plant, so I go back and restart the scan. And I scan the second plant. This gives me the plant info for the Hebe pingifolia Sutherlandi. And again, I can see with this plant, I can grow it in a container. And this plant is hardy to -18 degrees C. If I go to the looks page, I can see that this plant also grows to 0.35 metres tall, but it's got a much bigger spread. It grows to 0.9 metres spread. So the Hebe pingifolia Sutherlandi is more hardy, and since I lost plants last winter because of the cold, I'll choose that one because it's the hardiest. Here we can see that scanning the QR codes has given me all the info I needed to choose the right plant for me and my garden. Most of the QR code scanner apps have some kind of history list, so you can go back and have a look at the plants you scanned at the garden centre when you're at home and have more time. So inside the QR code reader app, you find its history button, and here you'll see a list of the QR codes I've scanned. In this app it shows the day and time I scanned them. You just tap one in the list and it opens to show you the same info you got when you scanned the label earlier. Magic! The plant info you get from the QR codes is part of an extensive encyclopedia of UK plants, and that whole plant encyclopedia is available in the Joy of Plants app. Now I'm going to show you how you can use the plant info QR codes with the Joy of Plants app to save your plant info and do other things with it. The Joy of Plants app is currently available for iPhones and will be available for other phones in the near future. To get the Joy of Plants app on my iPhone, I can just scan one of the plant info QR codes. If I scroll down to the bottom of the page, I can see a yellow box that tells me about the Joy of Plants app. Here it also has an App Store button, which I can tap to open the App Store and take me to the Joy of Plants page. There's an install button I can use to install the app on my phone. As you can see, I've already installed it. So now I've got the Joy of Plants app here on my iPhone. Whenever I go to scan a plant info QR code, I can scroll down the page, and at the bottom you'll see a link that says click here to open this plant in the app. So I can click here, it opens the plant in the app. You can see the same pages of information as I got from the QR code, but the buttons to move between the pages are now at the bottom of the screen, and there are some other buttons at the top of the screen for the app and a tab bar at the bottom. I can tap this button in the top right hand corner to give me options for things I can do with this plant in the app. The Joy of Plants app has a favourites list that I can add the plant to, and if I want to keep a list of the plants I have in my garden, I can add the plant there too. Or I can share the plant info with my friends. Here I'm going to choose the Add to Favourites button and add this plant to my favourites list. The Joy of Plants has a favourites button at the bottom of the screen, and if I tap that, you can see it's added this plant to my favourites list. There's also a plant finder button at the bottom of the screen which takes me to the full plant encyclopedia, and this gives me options to look up plants. I can look up plants to meet certain criteria, I can look up plants by name, or I can browse through groups of plants. As you can see, by scanning the QR codes for plants, you can add them to a favourites list in the Plants app, add them to your garden, share them with your friends, and it won't matter at all if I lose the plant label after I've bought the plant, because I can still get the information. Joy of Plants brings you all the plant information you need, from QR codes on labels, an app in your pocket, to an encyclopedia on your website. Plant info everywhere, just like magic.